Wonderful, wonderful. Hi, this is Kevin Lynch, and it's Ben. Is it Ben Abel?
It's pronounced Abel, yeah. So this is Ben Abel from Abel Marketing. This is how I do the Abel Marketing Facebook Lives from the virtual studio. Let's move over my microphone and get that plugged in. I will sound a little better, and so people can see it, and so can you can see it. So here's my microphone. It's probably good to get one of these, some kind of
Yeah, I've
podcast
got
mic.
a pretty good mic. Yeah, I got a
Okay,
very good mic.
so there's a podcast mic here. Clip on my virtual camera. Now it wants to go to my onboard camera, which is pretty lame, to be honest. So never used a FaceTime HD camera. so
Okay.
I so I got something called the C922 Pro Restream camera from Logix, and
Yeah,
so this is basically the Facebook Live studio. So now we're live. So we'll just start chatting. So
perfect,
Kevin, you sent me a list of questions. I've got the questions in front of me.
perfect.
I can go through and answer them. Feel
Sure.
free to ask. Feel free to ask away.
Okay, yeah. So let's start with the first one then, with kind of trying to get a little insight on your business background and
Right.
what is Able Marketing? What do you guys do? Maybe tell us a little story to start.
Yeah, sure. So how Able Marketing started was in 2020, with the start of the pandemic. I decided to start my own business. I have about 15 years of marketing content creation, primarily written going back to 2006. I was working for a company and doing some freelance sports writing. Those opportunities dried up. I decided to start my own company. I've been doing that ever since. You had some questions here for me. What inspired me to open this business in this community, which is obviously North Vancouver and Upper Lonsdale. I
Yeah.
live in this area. I used to live next to the Queensdale Market. I now live near Larson Elementary. So I'm still in the Upper Lonsdale area, a few blocks from my old place.
Nice.
How's my business evolved since its inception? I think when I started, it was very sort of general copywriting for various audiences. Now it's moved a lot more to business, accountants and bookkeepers. I can work with people in different verticals, but what I'm very clear about now is the types of content, strategy, creation, development that I offer to people, and how that can help their business.
Okay. So it's certainly a B2B play, and your objective is to help people to be more efficient, and help them with their content creation strategies.
Yeah, and it's also messaging, right? Like I sort of have this funny slogan that's get the right words to the right people, but it's
Mm,
spelled get the right WRIT words to the RIGHT people, right? So it's that kind of a little play on words. Get the right words to the right people. So that's my sort of little tag for it. Um, and you got a whole list of questions here, Kevin. I've got at least half an hour to chat, or maybe 20 minutes
yeah.
to half an hour.
Okay. Cool. Let's keep popping through here.
Okay.
So so mission. So as far as challenges and opportunity, what do you think some of the biggest challenges that you've had to face, kind of launching this, maybe even since the pandemic?
I think the biggest thing for me has been finding clients, finding the right clients, and also having a really clear idea of what services and products I'm offering, who I'm offering them to, and what my target audience is.
Right. Right. And has that kind of changed based on each of the clients, or is that just kind of
It's evolved over time as a result of working with one particular client who is an accountant slash bookkeeper, or who was and is transitioning to a business strategist. And um, this person in particular is really keen, wants to create her own content, but hasn't ever gone through things like how to use WordPress to do it, how to write content, how to use AI to do it, like ChatGPT or Grammarly, how to lay out a piece of content in such a way that it conforms to kind of like what's sort of web friendly, I guess you want to call it.
right?
There are certain things you do when you put content online, and that comes from all my content creation background experience and copywriting experience. It's how the content looks that it's people can sort of immediately grab onto it, right? And one of those things is how to format your content, right? So I can share that within the studio, and you can see it. So she has written a post on a coach, consultant, or strategist, and which is the one that's right for your business. So she had some really good content. It was a little raw. And so what we did was we went through like she had the content in there, and then it was a question of how about making sure that it's formatted right for the web, right? So what we look at, Kevin, is we look at things like we look at titles like this, links, images, how to like correctly align them within your content. We look at the content. We look at like the wording, how something like Grammarly can help adjust the grammar. We look at things like which is right for you, how to create a call to action right here. Let's chat. We look at things like I'll show you this too. We look at this content doc that I created for her, which I'm now using as a lead magnet for my business to help people who want to create content online.
Okay.
So I'll show you that too. So I mean, this is a free offering, but then obviously it's a free introductory kind of lead magnet offering, and then it leads to a monthly paid sort of thing with me. Is how I do it. And so when you look at the sort of thing for accountants and bookkeepers, if there's an offer, we go through how to get your content kind of web ready. She wanted to focus on blogging, so that's what we did.
Okay. I assume when you say web ready, that means visually links up, everything else like that's operating, but then also an element of SEO and things like that.
SEO is definitely a factor. And so when using SEO, WordPress offers you a number of SEO tools and plugins. I found something through a web developer friend called Squirrely SEO, which is really, really robust. It's kind of complicated if you don't understand SEO and sort of how to use things like other SEO programs that were built into WordPress. There's one called Yoast SEO. And so I offer this to people as paid work as a value-added service, right? That's what I do. And so let me just see if I can find it. Sorry, I'm just looking through my Google Docs here.
All right.
Offer. Where did it go? Anyway, I'll keep moving here. So yeah, so there's a prime example of a client I was working with, trying to help her create blog post content, get it formatted correctly. So this is what it is. I found it now within my Google Docs. I'll show it to you. So I'll share my screen here. That's the other thing we were talking about with Restream. It's great. You can share your screen. So this is the accounting content creation professionals doc. And I focused on my client target audience just because this lady that I was working with. But what I do here is I basically take you through, and it's sort of meant to be a worksheet that you can implement stuff in your business right away, especially if you're posting content online. I use it as a free lead magnet to attract my clients. Then people take the next step and we have a conversation about how we're going to work together, and the types of things we can do with content. And this applies to things like blog posts, website content, social media content, longer form stuff sometimes, like a education piece, a white paper, something of that nature. And so, yeah, so this is basically like things that people use. We got a section on SEO, like you mentioned. Best practices, I call it. We go over some of the key concepts, and this is where people can dig in and do this themselves, but they can also have it explained by me, right? Yeah. And generally, that's when we move to a paid contract, right? Like, so someone says, I need you to help me with this many blog posts a month, some social media content, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I say, okay, well, every blog post is around $300 to $500. Some people object, saying, why is that so much? Why is it so much? Is because we're going to be doing stuff like this, right? And that takes time and effort. And it's also my experience that goes back really close to 2 decades. So um, this is the content creation worksheet that I created for accountants, but really could apply to anybody. Someone like yourself, I've looked at your website. I know you do some blog posts and content on there about real estate topics or upcoming stuff in the neighborhood or sales. And how you and I got talking was you dropped off a newsletter on my porch, right? So
That's right. Yeah.
So that's basically it. Hopefully that answers some of the questions around challenges. What strategies do I employ to stay competitive in a changing market? I think the adoption of AI is one thing. I'm using AI more and more to generate content.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that.
But I don't tell AI to write a post and then cut and paste it. Like, I don't do that, right? I will generate ideas from AI, then I will use the idea, and then I will write my own content around it. Like I did that for this. I did that for one of my own blog posts, and I can share here. Here's another free lead magnet for people that want to see it.
So for people on here that don't know what lead magnet is, what is a lead magnet?
That's what a copywriter or a content creator or marketer would tell you. Like, you have a lead magnet, right? Like, you have your newsletter that you take around to people's doors and you drop them off. And yeah. I know you told me that, like, you do that, like you're doing it once a month.
Yeah.
And it's just trying to sort of talk about generate interest. Realtors coming to sort of, someone's looking to sell their home. Who do they reach out to? They got your newsletter. So you're kind of top of mind, right? And that's kind of what a lead magnet is designed to do. The concept in sales is to generate leads from a lead magnet. So if someone got your newsletter, they're thinking about selling their home, they keep your newsletter, then they call you because they want to sell their home, right? So you're basically generating leads that way with direct marketing, which is mail-in marketing, right?
Right. Okay, good. With respect to the AI, I kind of took you off track a little bit there.
No, that's okay.
But I am curious. So AI gives you a great foundation. I use ChatGPT, but I don't use any other AI formulas or that I'm aware of. I know a lot of them are built into systems now automatically. As far as efficiency and helping you to kind of, get outlines and stuff, I'm sure that saves time and energy for you. And end of the day, do you think that that's something that will be elevated for the general consumer as far as what they're able to do?
That's a good question. I didn't know the best way to answer it, because I think a lot of people are tempted to use AI because it's a buzzword, but then when you actually start using it, it's like any other technology. You have to learn how to use it, and then the real key is to apply it to your business in such a way that it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to, like we said, like I talked about a lead magnet like you had with a newsletter. I mean, if that is your purpose for using it, you're investing money and paying for ChatGPT, and then what you're doing is you're using it to make money in a sense, right? And so copywriters use it, and I use it, but there's a lot of stuff about, well, copywriters are afraid of it because they think it's going to take your job, and it's not going to take your job, right? I mean, if you use it effectively, it won't. I don't think. I'm just looking at some of your other questions too. Like, this thing about community and local impact is important too, because I totally believe in contributing to the local community. I totally believe in collaborating with other local businesses. Like, that's why we're doing this, right? And we can talk more on the AI question too, but you had some stuff about local causes or organizations that my business supports. Yeah, there's quite a few. How do I view the role of small business strengthening community? I think it's huge, and I think the pandemic for me really changed that about how people view local businesses, right? because I think people were like, oh, I can't get to a store, or I need to get to a local store, or I can't buy something, but I can go to like the Queensdale Market where I used to live, or what's in that area, like the Harmony Donuts or the Queen's Cross Pub or things like that.
Right. Have you seen with some of your clients in any categories that you're in that the delivery process has changed as far as how they operate? And so my thinking is, here you are copywriting, and here you are helping them to elevate their online strategy through copywriting as well. Have you
Yeah.
seen people merge into things being more almost like, I'm thinking almost less personal in a way that allows for more of a delivery type of service as opposed to in-person kind of things on as far as the local concerns are?
That's a good question. And I think AI, a lot of times people say it makes the writing more impersonal. And like if you just use AI and you cut and paste it straight in, you can see the difference, or at least I as a copywriter can see it when it's AI generated, right?
Right, for
I
sure.
think the thing I'm exploring is, and some other people I could tell you about, how key automation is in people's businesses for those kind of processes. And people use automation and then they generate content automatically, or they use automation and then people say, well, it's going to make it more impersonal because they automate email campaigns, or they automate outreach, or once you've sent in, oh yeah, I saw your lead magnet, I'm interested in talking to you, you get an automated response back, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that. I don't know how it's changed. I think a lot of businesses, small businesses, local businesses, struggle with understanding why they should be doing it or why they should be changing. And there's a product, I was at a meeting yesterday. There's a product that's sort of like hyper local marketing for small businesses. I don't know how much I can actually reveal about it, but it's something I could post down the road. So yeah, no, I think it's changed. I think a lot of local businesses struggle with how to market themselves and the understanding of why they should do that and why they should spend the money on it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's tough, right? It's tough. It's tough to justify the expense, but
It's always a balancing act. Any business, you have to run your numbers and say, okay, so where do I need to allocate these funds for
yeah,
my
right.
own efficiencies? Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just chatting with somebody earlier today and telling them that, after COVID, I'd gotten sick. And so was building out a team. And so I had to chop a handful of the agents from the team because I just didn't have the energy and the time to actually do training and develop them. And so now our team is just me and my business partner at this moment, and our administration. But it's really, it's just a 3-person team as opposed to, 5 or 6-person team. And it just makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So with respect to your future plans, where do you see your growth? You're an online business, but you're also a local business.
That's right.
Where do you kind of put your focal point?
That's a good question. It's something I should probably think more about. And I think there's value in both, because as someone who, working with my friend who's the accountant, and I'm helping her do content marketing, she's also helping me do business strategy. And she's like, you could focus on local clients with copywriting and the fact that we can do things on video. And she's actually based in Nova Scotia. So we do all her content work, right? Like over Zoom. We don't meet in person. Right. But I like to meet in person, but then we can also do this. So I think that's another thing the pandemic's really given us more and more, is the sort of what they call hybrid or working model or in person or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the digital element, right? So
yeah,
even with real estate, I know that we were doing virtual showings and stuff like this for a little while, where I'd go in and I just kind of run through. People do little live videos and kind of just showcase that, send them off a video of the walkthrough and stuff. So people were buying a little more. I guess people got more comfortable with the digital side of life through.
Well, they had no choice, right?
Yeah,
they had no choice. And then I think it was, well, this actually works pretty well in a lot of cases.
Surprise,
works, right? Yeah. Like it's pretty cool. Like, but then it also, as someone who has computer background, and used to set up computer networks like 20 years ago, you also got to have the infrastructure in place to accommodate it.
Right. Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
Like
Right.
like proper internet cameras for computers and microphones and fast home internet and right. Like, it's like you can't like, I think there was lots of bottlenecks with that kind of stuff too.
So would you class yourself as a techie? Is that something like, are you like one of my brothers, he's got to have all the gadgets and all the toys and he wants them before everyone else gets them.
I don't think I'm a techie at all. Like, I think I
No,
used to be and I could be, but what
no.
I've done is use it to help my marketing career and my copywriting business.
Well, and that's
Because
valuable too, because as you're talking to some of your clients and stuff, you have knowledge in those areas.
I do,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
having, an expertise that's, what you do is great, but then having a lot of knowledge points in different types of businesses and stuff like
Right.
this that you can draw on can actually be helpful in their business in more ways than just the direct copywriting element.
Yeah. 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 And that's where the value add comes in. And that's why the lead magnet document was created. And in follow up, Kevin, like I'll send you a link to this meeting and send you lots of stuff, right? And do lots of contact stuff. But ask me any other questions you want to ask me on the list. I got another 10 minutes. So
Yeah. So, so advice and insights is kind of a category.
yep.
So what advice would you give an aspiring local business owners?
I think the biggest thing I learned in entrepreneurship, I was saying this to someone the other day, is just the ability to understand why you're doing something, the ability to listen, and also the ability to realize when you hire a quote unquote expert, and I don't love the term expert, it's just that you're understanding why they're there in your business, like why someone like me as a marketer or a copywriter is there. And I understand there's discussion and debate about why I'm going to implement this in my business, but I think a lot of people I've learned with clients, you have to realize that people that are helping you because they want you to be successful. And they also, they know this stuff. Like, it's not like they're not just doing it for fun, right? Like they actually know what they're doing. They actually have been there working for other businesses. They've seen this stuff work. They've seen it fail. They know what's going to be better, kind of for you down the road. And they sort of have your best interests at heart, right? I think the other thing I would say, advising for local businesses, one of the things that's a real sort of value for me, if you really want to build an online presence, build a website. Hire someone to build a website and pay them to build your website, right? And that's probably going to mean a copywriter like myself and probably a web designer, 2 people. Like if you really want to grow your business and you really want to leverage being online, there's no better place to find a local business than to go to their website and find out what they're about, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard. Have you heard of a guy named Russell Brunson?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So he's basically says that you need to understand your marketing because you're driving the ship. So that you need to be the person. You need to become the person that is the expert in that category, so that you can drive that ship. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. And he's created a pretty amazing system. I don't know if you've ever tried it or used it. I don't. No, I don't. But I did dabble in it and give it a good serious look at.
Right.
But he's a marketing genius essentially, and
he is.
And somebody that we can learn from. What other people do you think that you've kind of learned from? This isn't on your question list, but
no, that's okay.
What other?
There's a lot of people. There's people that I've met in my travels, people that I've worked for, authors and entrepreneurs that I've read. Alex Hermosi, $100 Million Offers, is a brilliant book about how to build offers. I think that's a real key for any business. Build an offer, because that's really important. I can actually look at some of the books. I kind of have to cheat. The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles, is a great book. $100 Million Offers, Alex Hermosi. Another one. Chris Goward, You Should Test That, is a fantastic book about how to optimize your online profiles and business and sort of your website. The E-Myth Revisited.
Right in your wheelhouse too, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. The E-Myth Revisited. What's another good book? Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss is a great book. The Art of Negotiation. A lot of people have influenced my business. A guy named Marshall Stern. He was my business coach for a program called the Create Program. I can provide some information on how to contact Marshall. He's fantastic. A lot of people that I've met through sort of business networking groups, Facebook group called the Business Inner Circle. A lot of people in those groups. A lady named Kendra Vise, who's my business strategist, and I'm helping her. That's the lady's website who I showed you, Clear Direction Advisors.
Okay.
Man, there's a huge list of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good. It's. I'm glad you share that, because
yeah, it's important.
We learn from others, and most ideas aren't brand new ideas. They're usually rehashed or re-strategized or
I think there's a lot of that.
Innovated,
I think there's a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot of amazing knowledge out there, and so for our business people that are kind of watching and looking to kind of grow their business, I think
exactly.
Get some good leaders that you can follow and learn from, and I would say advocate for I'm an advocate for daily learning, actually, where you continue to expand your capacity, and then as you rise, your capacity rises.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And one of the things that I learned as an entrepreneur, and that's why I mentioned it earlier, like when you hire someone to work in your business, there's real value in when you hire someone, listening to someone that you hire. And I think there's real value in kind of understanding that even if they're working for you or you're working for them, there's still a lot of give and take, right? Mm-hmm. There has to be flexibility. There has to be give and take. And I admit, to be an entrepreneur myself, like I'm pretty driven, and I'm pretty sort of like, I know what I want, but I've learned that I also have to temper that with patience. And I think with the ability to sort of understand where someone else is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, good. I like it. So, let's see. So, closing thoughts.
Yeah.
What do you want the community to know about your business that maybe you haven't shared yet?
What I do, and why I do it is because I love to do it. I'm passionate about it. What I do is I help you get a clear message, and clear messaging. The written word is or copywriting, or using ChatGPT is my way to do it. I have a lot of experience doing it. I've seen it be successful, and I'm a local business. So reach out to me. You can book a call with me. There's no cost. We'll do a 15-minute chat, or a chat like this, like a Facebook Live type thing, and learn more about it. And I basically help you get clear on how to reach the people you want to reach.
That's huge. Honestly, of everything that you've said, to me, that's probably, as a business owner, that would probably be the number one thing. So your messaging is all about getting in front of the people, getting in front of the right people.
Exactly.
And so who is the right people? You have to dig a little bit to figure out who the right people is.
Well, that's market research, right? Yeah. That's market research. And that's why I covered it in my lead magnet. And it's I've done some market research stuff. I'm by no means an expert, but I know a lot about it. And, really, really finding out when you have your target audience, what their pain, what their pain points are. Because I've realized, like you said, if someone's buying a piece of real estate from you and you're their realtor, that's a huge investment, right? But there might be reasons they're buying that you don't understand and you don't know about, that they won't tell you about until you explore through market research things like pain points.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like part of the process. And so blogging and stuff like that, that's one thing, but
yeah, exactly.
How do you tie it into a sales process?
Exactly. Exactly.
You get to explore what people get to explore through you, what's going on. And then through that exploration, you can identify, what they really need, because they don't always say it up front. It's not, people are protective of their situations or their life and everything else. So you often have to ask some very sincere and specific questions that will identify, what it is that they really need from you. And then you can only then, once you kind of dig at that level, you can really elevate their category, or help them to move up that ladder as far as how they're generating those quality clients to them. I like your model. I like your model. It's very thoughtful.
Thank you. I put a lot of time into it.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
4 years
evidently.
4 years of time. But I should
Right?
run. So
Yeah.
I should run. So let me send you all the information on me, and I'll send you the
Wonderful.
links for this stuff, and we'll be in touch.
That's awesome. I really